I've reported from Cambodia, Vietnam, Azerbaijan, Persian Gulf a number of times, Iraq, Kosovo, Colombia, Yemen, Abu Dhabi.
It's been
and
a fascinating few years and to be covering this here at U.S. News as well.
And it was the day that our Moscow correspondent, Nick Daniloff, was taken hostage at
Doors
the
were locked.
embassy.
And Gorbachev wagged his finger at us and said, no, no.
Reporting for me means taking pictures, shooting video, and of course writing articles for both the print magazine and the website.
As a matter of fact, I'm 76, so the magazine is 1 year younger than I am.
So let's pop that cork and celebrate 75 years of U.S. News. The World Report came a bit later. We've come a long way, now publishing stories on the web first, even video.
In 5, 4, 3.
How about Gradzilla on Facebook, ranking America's best graduate schools, colleges, and even hospitals?
So you're part of helping them get to the right therapy, whether it's surgery, whether it's not.
It's been a part of our DNA for decades. Our concept of news you can use, consumer journalism, has been around even longer. It's how we look at Wall Street.
As you know, it's very difficult to say what the proper level of occurrence is. Is it too strong? Is it too weak?
And Main Street.
There's simple things you can do to get a higher credit score and then pay less in interest.
It is useful information, but it doesn't have to be useful only to your wallet. The only constant is that it has something to do with your personal life.
The first news you can use ran in 1948 in the first issue of the newly combined U.S. News and World Report. Watergate marked Richard Nixon's tumultuous presidency and resignation.
The so-called smoking gun erupted, and Marvin Stone, the editor, called me and he said, "Get back here right away." And I said, "Why?" And he said, "You're our White House correspondent. From now on, you know Jerry Ford a lot better than anybody in the magazine."
Our current White House correspondent has 4 administrations. That's 22 years under his belt.
I've seen the American president who helped end Soviet communism in Ronald Reagan. His successor, Herbert Walker Bush, presiding over the actual unraveling of communism and the fall of the Berlin Wall. President Clinton, of course, the first 2-term Democratic president in a long time, and the impeachment year, which was a gruesome year for everybody who covered the Clinton presidency and people in the presidency, but nevertheless a historic year. And then, of course, President Bush, the son, our 43rd president, the events of 9/11.
Shortly thereafter, President Bush declared a war on terrorism, and that led us back to the hot zone.
When I was in Afghanistan, you really see kind of the effects. I mean, what does this war on terrorism mean? You know, you see a lot of disappointment. You see people who are extremely poor, who are really struggling with what Kabul looks like today.
Traveling around Baghdad, I saw the simultaneous destruction and attempted reconstruction of the city and the terrible toll that it took on both the soldiers fighting there and the civilians living in the middle.
Reporting on the war reminds us about the importance of going back years later.
Last year I was able to get back to Rwanda and take a look at how that country is recovering from its genocide in 1994 and found what really was a largely good news story. What they've also been able to do is build up their tourist industry, and the main attraction there are the endangered mountain gorillas.
And that's just a small window into what U.S. News is all about, where we've come from and where we're going. I'm Brian Kelly, editor of U.S. News and World Report, and here's to the next 75 years.